But I know that we don't have a speaker plan today, but really kind of, especially with everything that's been evolving over the last couple weeks, COVID, a lot of different other programs and projects I know people are working on that just really kind of wanted to do a roundtable and hear updates and, from everybody around the group and how you're all working and managing.
Hey, Vicki, I don't want to hijack, but I have a question that maybe is for a future. Future is that we have been tasked by our board. Well, I wouldn't say we've been tasked by our board to do this, but one of the things we've been tasked with by our board, this is one of the outcomes that we're taking, is that we're about to embark on a digital marketing campaign. So I would love to hear from others what we have a very targeted audience, and no, I'm not going to be putting up, ads in other cities with research parks. So anyway, the point is just, we have a very targeted audience. I'm just curious to see examples of things that other people have done. We're hiring a local firm to help us with some of the messaging, and we kind of know what our messaging is, but I'm just curious if we could discuss that at some point. I'd love to hear feedback or just best practices from others.
I'd open it up today. I think, yeah.
If you want to talk about that today, that's fine, but I didn't want to hijack that. I was just like, I'm gonna have to leave a little. I might have to leave a little early, so I just wanted to make sure. To you.
Laura, we actually are just getting started on a similar endeavor on a pretty small scale, where I think we're focusing on LinkedIn ads to start. But in order to generate, our audience of who we're targeting our ads to, we actually just purchased a system called Wellspring, which is kind of a database for patents, research publications. It basically is a search engine that allows us to search key terms and things like that, and see who's active in those spaces. And it includes universities and private industry as well. So we liked what we saw we did a demo and a free trial with them, and it allows us to search a term. So for instance, like we have faculty doing a lot of work in gut health, and so we can search gut health and see all the companies that are already partnering with universities, folks who have patents or publications related to gut health, and then we can pull those top companies. It allows us to, it even gives you like top names of researchers who are most frequently mentioned in those types of publications and stuff. And so we're using that to generate our target audiences.
That's pretty neat.
So we are just getting into that. So as we move forward, I'm happy to share our experience with that, but might be something to look into.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know if this happens to any of your other universities, or for those of you, some people on here aren't part of a university, but I just discovered last week that the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign has its own internal digital marketing agency, basically. Like, why did I just now find this out? I don't know. Anyway. So that's a good, the good news is I found it out before because I was actually starting to walk down this road with a third party provider, and this will save us a lot of money. But anyway, it's just like head, face palm, but we're good. So anyway, we're starting with them, but I'm sure that they don't understand who our audience is. And frankly, we need to, that is a big issue here of figuring that out. And so this sounds like a really great tool that I'm going to look into.
We had a similar experience with our NC State University Communications. They haven't done a lot of kind of like brand awareness campaigns for like individual colleges or units. And so this was kind of something that they wanted to, develop their experience in. So they kind of used us as a guinea pig, and did kind of like a trial campaign. We did Google search ads, and we did LinkedIn ads as well. And it was good for us because we found out that we had to be a little more specific in who we were targeting if we were going to be successful. But they didn't charge us for, the labor and the service of doing the campaign, because they were kind of figuring it out. And we just paid the ad costs.
Yeah, and that's how that's how this is going to work too. Our university, I think, did the actual opposite, and they like to go big or go home, which is basically they started this when they started a huge campaign, the University of Illinois. They figured out that they actually needed to do some marketing like 2 years ago and hired a CMO. We never had one before and whatever. So I think that's when this all started. And then I think after they developed that really humongous campaign, they were like, oh, well, maybe we should offer this to other units. So anyway, everybody does it differently. Yours is probably, it's an interesting case study too. So I'll be interested to hear what they say. And they are kind of similar to what you're talking about. In our case, they don't do the creative, which is fine. I'm more than happy. We have partners who we've worked with on creative that know our style and whatever. So I really don't want to have to reinvent that wheel. So I'm happy to go back to them. So of course the university keeps changing that too, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, anyway, it'll be a fun project, and I'm happy to share what we learn from it after we go through it. We have a pretty tight timeline too. I mean, we're going to try to launch this after the new year. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow is right.
Yeah.
Some other people on my team were like, that long, huh? I'm like,
I'm like, it's November. Yeah. Wow. Anybody else? Miles, Aaron, I know with parks.
We can go back to our regular schedule.
Yeah, regular schedule.
Is everybody registered for international conference?
No. You are.
I was told I have somebody managing my registration for me for our whole team. So
I think you are too.
Okay.
Caitlin, I think you are.
Yeah, some of you guys have that already. I've been talking with people, so no worries.
Actually, that was there was a couple AURP questions I wanted to throw out to all of you. And one of them is a communications committee, which it wouldn't be, I guess it would be different from this roundtable, but it would be more working on different initiatives from the association perspective on, whether it's member recruitment or whether it's campaigns, like supporting the parks and campaigns. But I think that we really do need some input. Like even our website, I was thinking about this in my sleep last night. And I was thinking about how, like our website, who is our target audience? Is it like the public or is it our membership? And I think that you're like,
I think that's like a nice candlelit dinner with
what?
Sorry, I'm traveling today and my radio popped on when I got in my car.
I'm like, that sounds great. All right now.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No. So, were you going to say something, Miles?
No, I have something to say, but not related to this, so keep going. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. So,
I was just gonna say that we kind of took the Tri-Cities Research District, we kind of went running with Laura's suggestions on her job board from the last meeting that I was able to attend. I brought up what Laura's been doing with our entire board when we met last month, and they were super excited to support that. And one of our partner organizations gave us the cash to have the website redone to do that. so that was really awesome, and we're getting started right now on integrating the other university, community college, and corporate platforms into our job board feed. So thank you, Laura.
Nice.
Awesome.
They all really loved your site.
Great. Well, I hope they looked at it on the days that it wasn't broken. So, because you know that.
I checked it before our meeting and showed it to them over Zoom. But it looked great.
Thank you.
They were convinced.
Yeah. Websites. That could be that could be a topic for like 3 weeks.
I agree. I really agree. I struggle with it. But I know I'm not alone.
I'm happy to be on a communications committee, Vicki. I know you know that I'm a willing.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't see this, right. I just don't see it as, you know, as an A or a P, just initiative. It's how we can support our members too. So, and get your stories out. So, thank you. Not for a couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, let's get past these few weeks and then we'll be good to go.
Right, right. Hey, Erin or Caitlin, do you have any updates you want to share?
I
Well,
was just going to say,
oh, go ahead.
Vicki, once you get that going, I don't think I have time to do that right now, but I'm hopefully hiring somebody in 2021, so I will add that to their repertoire
Oh,
of
great.
projects.
Great, thanks. Thank you. Were you going to say something here, Caitlin?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think it's funny you guys have brought up about the website, because we're just kind of going through our strategy and marketing budget for next year. And our String website has been just a heel, like, oh, it just drives me nuts because it's so inaccessible in so many ways. And we have such a limited budget on dedicating to updates. So if you guys have any like suggestions, or we're kind of cornered into this WordPress box, and so we have to like format all these different things, and you know, without having like a web developer on staff, it's just really tricky.
So, Caitlin, do you know what on WordPress, do you know what you guys use for building your pages and plugins? Do you have a builder?
Yeah, we're using Beaver Builder.
Okay. We just made the switch actually from Beaver Builder to Elementor.
Okay.
Because my main job, the port website, we paid a consultant to redo that website, but did not have the funds to do the research districts. But that web developer used Elementor because it was so easy to use for his clients. And I think it starts at like $49 or $100 a year, but I started using it, and I'm not super, I know probably more than the average non-web developer, but I'm not super informed on setting up WordPress, and it's really, really easy for me to use, way easier than Beaver Builder.
That's good to hear. I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, that sounds really nice, because it's just cumbersome.
I'll say there is no perfect builder. We use Elementor, and I try to get around it every chance I get. So there's no perfect solution. I will say though that one of the things that we do, we use a lot of student labor. So we have a student, we have 2 students right now that are front end developers, and what I've learned about students is that if they have any web experience, even if they don't have WordPress experience, it's really easy for them to pick it up. So if you're willing to invest in you might not have, $100 an hour, but you can hire a student for $20 an hour. And at least in our case, that's what we've done. So we have a maintenance contract with the people who did our website, but almost all of and not just updates, like not just text updates, but and that's why I was making that comment about the students actually broke the website the other day, but then they fixed it. So, but anyway, that's how we've done it. And we used to have, our website was on, oh God, what's the other, sorry, I'm totally blanking on another platform that was like absolutely horrific to use. So, I mean, WordPress is definitely the way to go in my opinion, but yeah, you just need to find somebody who can manipulate it the way you want.
Right.
How many interns do you have?
Way too many.
I was gonna say, I know you have a lot.
Yeah, we have like 18 interns, but that's spread across a lot of different domains.
And you manage those, correct?
It's not just me. I directly manage some of them. But we don't have a full-time graphic designer, but we have 3 graphic design interns. So this is how we basically built out our entire communication. I have 3 social media interns. And the university would probably have a stroke if they knew how much autonomy I give my social media interns, but that's okay. It hasn't backfired on us yet, so.
Right. That's always scary. Hey, Erin, you're too quiet. I'm calling on you again.
I've never had that criticism.
I know.
That's what you get for going virtual, I guess. I can't make as much noise because I have to wait my turn. We actually, from a communication standpoint, I've gotten pretty exasperated with our site. So we're doing a ground up, I guess, a complete overhaul. I'm calling it 2.0. I had the staff update what we had on there, but it's just not effective enough. So everything that everyone's been saying here just goes into play in terms of adequately highlighting what you're doing and engaging so many different parties as it relates to your work, but also your partner's work. And so that's, I'm going through that trial now and interviewing some folks, as well as working with my staff on understanding why their pain in the ass executive director is going through this whole process, which has its own set of challenges. But
From New Orleans.
yeah, from New Orleans. Yeah, never mind Baltimore. So but it's going to be fun. It's going to be worth it too. It's interesting what everyone's saying here, though. The workforce side, I'd never really thought about it until our last meeting, or the last meeting I was in, when Laura, you were speaking about all the work that you were doing, and so it's your fault if it doesn't work. But also, I do want to get some interns involved. So again, Laura, that'll be your problem too if this doesn't work out.
Play it on.
No, I'm looking. I think it's some great thoughts, and I'm really looking forward to incorporating those suggestions into the site.
And who's going to handle your site then? I mean, your platform?
We have 3 different proposals so far, and we're going to make a decision probably next week on which way to go. And it goes back to what everyone's saying here. We'll have I want to, again, complete overhaul of everything, and then have the platform. I think WordPress is what we've used in the past in terms of updating the content moving forward. But it's just, especially as it relates to the university, we don't have a strong enough presence on the web regarding our link to UMBC. So hopefully we can repair that, because I know the university's new team is very interested in having us incorporated into our work. So we'll see.
That's another really good topic too.
Mm-hmm.
In a good or bad way?
No, in a good way. I mean, and for those of you who, are not in university, maybe it's another partner that is looking to incorporate you, but Miles already just told us about his success story, but so I mentioned that our university hired a CMO 2 years ago, et cetera. And I won't get into all the inside baseball politics, but basically some of his staff, who of course I know because everyone knows everyone around here, but came to us and said, we're doing these audits and we're trying to figure out how we can relate the brand to what you do and blah, blah, blah. And I said, basically my comment was, I really want the university to talk about us. Like that. They're like, what can we do for you? I'm like you say that, oh, the research park is one of the gems of the university. It's like, except you never talk about us. Like, yeah, you might share some of our social media content, so, whatever, or like we might appear obliquely in some video or whatever, but it's just, there's not been a university effort to actually incorporate us into the message of the university and the brand of the university in a meaningful way. So again, this is another task. So
I think
it'll be
you're right.
interesting to see how it works.
A lot of times they don't understand the potential and really with the asset that they have at their disposal. I've now met with advancement, alumni relations, folks like that. And I'm trying to get across to them that it matters to their own work, incorporating us into, or linking us more closely to the university. And I think that the new person they have in advancement understands that and is actually pretty excited about that prospect. So hopefully it can keep going forward.
Isn't that a common struggle, with the park systems and versus universities? Isn't it more often than not that?
I don't know, Heather, I'm curious your perspective.
Yeah, she might be different.
Yeah, I don't know if I can, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you do have a good connection.
I mean, part of our issue, and again, I mentioned the inside baseball of this, is that we actually reported under the system structure and not the campus until like a year ago. And so there was all this like systemic issues of where we fit and who we belong to, and like we weren't, anyway, it's like a whole long drama. But we are now part of the campus, like we are part of the campus reporting structure. So, but even before, when we necessarily weren't, it was still kind of weird. It's like, why aren't you talking about us? Like So anyway, so it's good to hear your thoughts on that, Erin. And if you have any best practices, Heather, for how that works successfully, I'm happy to hear it, because this is one of these going to be this chicken or the egg situation where they ask me what I want and I tell them, but how it actualizes, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're a university department, and we drive a lot of the communications, and so we're even writing our own stories that the university is pushing out. Our director of marketing communications, and if we want our university communications to collaborate with us on, so for instance, we're doing more like video storytelling now, in addition to just news stories, and they're eager to provide the resources for filming and all the art direction and stuff on that. We're fortunate, they want to share our stories. The university wants to share like the story of Centennial Campus and the stories about industry partnerships, because the economic development aspect of it all is what the university wants the larger community to hear about. So we don't struggle in that respect. They want to share our stories. So yeah, we're pretty fortunate there.
It's kind of like changing a culture, an entire culture, to make that happen. So
yeah, I mean, I would say if there's any freedom to like pitch your own stories or create, like I said, write your own stories or do your pitches and kind of just force them to say yes rather than, you know, put it on them to write the stories, kind of just spoon feed it to them. I don't know.
And
Like I
we
said,
have plenty of stuff. So that, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they want to work it in. I mean, the other issue here is like there's this weird dichotomy at our campus between like the marketing office and public affairs. So it's like a different, anyway. So that's kind of interesting too.
And once you
I
get
find
involved with that, you kind of have to be careful what you wish for too, with you know, you know, the governance and the monitoring and you know of the communications at that point.
Yeah, it'll be a good challenge. I'm looking forward to it, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I do think one thing that in the last couple years that's been good for us on Centennial Campus is our university communications kind of spearheaded a Centennial Campus marketing committee. And there's so many stakeholders on our Centennial Campus because, you know, we have several different academic colleges and departments. We have our partnerships office. We have our real estate and development. We have our campus enterprises, like our dining and retail. And then of course, you know, we have all our real estate developers and industry partners. So they kind of brought a community of all those different stakeholders together. To the initial task was to work on the new Centennial Campus website. And then they're keeping it on to just continue having discussions about how stories are shared and kind of who owns what aspect of the communications and things like that. So kind of pulling all those stakeholders together just to get on the same page might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
One of you mentioned video, and I can't remember the context. Have any of you put together any kind of, one of my guys put together a YouTube channel for our park. Have any of you done something like that? We put interviews on there.
We have a very robust YouTube channel.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of viewership do you have? Is it pretty healthy?
It just depends on the video. I mean, one of the interesting things about being in the Zoom world right now is that Zoom makes it so easy to record events and things. So whereas before we had to have somebody physically present to video events or whatever. And so, so we put everything from like very short sort of marketing type videos. We have a virtual tour. We have, you know, videos that are geared towards student interns and the experience. We have, you know, profiles of people who work in the park. We do startup spotlights or things like that. So, I mean, the viewership ranges, but a lot of times, I mean, we use it to embed on our website too. We embed the videos, and in some cases, it's just a great, it's more of a resource than, you know, frankly, I'm not really that, I don't spend a lot of time with investigating the viewership of it as much as I do the, how are we, like the videos that we actually invest a lot of time in, what is the use case for them, if that makes sense. So we have some videos that I call just quick and dirty. It's like a recording of an event. We slap a few slides on it, put it up there. It's very, you know, little work.
Who does that? Who does the video production work? And do you have some high school kids doing it, or you have a production staff in there?
My interns. I have 2 video interns.
Awesome, awesome.
So yeah, we have video, social media, graphic design, events, front-end developer, human resources, and
You should loan some of these people out.
Easy.
What?
You should loan some of these people out to us.
Yeah.
You can make a little cut on the deal, you know?
I can do a presentation about our intern program at some point if you want to hear it.
You really should. It's so robust.
Yeah, I think that's amazing too, because you're just like utilizing all the talent and like, and the kid, and they're all gaining experience from it too, you know? Like, I think that's awesome, because you have all this help too at the same time, and it's, you know, you have to be patient with them, I'm sure, and, you know, obviously there's probably some downfalls with it, but I think it's amazing that you just did.
I would say start small. This did not happen overnight. It's happened. I mean, when I first started, we had one intern. So that was 10 years ago. But yeah, we do use the students a lot to help with that. And like I said, another thing that we do, Erin, is that, like, I can send you some examples. So when we do a grand opening of a new site, oftentimes that's like it's very often difficult for us to get the corporations to tell us about what they do in the park. And so we milk that for all it's worth. So we put a lot of energy into our grand opening videos and students interviews, and we cut them up and things like that. So thankfully students have a lot of video skills that would take me like 4 times as long. So they are able to do it. And, you know, I shouldn't even say 4 times, 40 times as long as it would. So.
Yes. Heather, do you have a large internship program like that?
We do not. Our partnership office does not have interns. We, you know, support a lot of our partners in their own internship programs just through our career development center, career fair, but we don't have an intern program for our team.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's probably something we could definitely benefit from. But yeah, like even especially from like a social media and marketing standpoint, I think we could really benefit from that. But yeah, it's not something that we have right now. I think in the past, our team has had one-off interns here and there. I would imagine once we get back to campus and students are back on campus, that's probably something we'd want to look into.
Yeah.
I guess what I would say about it is that one of the things that it's allowed us to do is to mimic the experience of so we learn as much from it as what our corporate partners need. So a lot of it is almost like we mimic what they do. And so there's a woman who works for me who is the assistant director for talent, and she is like what we would call a site director, so the equivalent of our corporate sites, and kind of manages the interns from a broad standpoint. And then they have project sponsors throughout the team, which is sort of like we tried to kind of mimic our own corporate internship program so that we understand their needs and their challenges in ways that we wouldn't be able to if we didn't have our own interns. They're very useful for the fact that we do a lot of programming for interns, especially in the summer when non-COVID summers, and so getting their perspective on marketing to students, because a big part of what we do is to make sure that students are aware of our internships, so it's invaluable to have them.
Caitlin, how far away are you from campus? Because you're in Madison, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're like about 20 minutes from the URP campus.
Are you? Is that the downtown one, or is that the one at the?
That's the one on the west side.
Okay.
The downtown one we're actually really close to. Like that's more of just like the startups. But honestly, we don't do as much work there as we do on the main campus. Yeah.
And I recall when we were there, we had a conference there 10 years ago, maybe. I remember working with the employment office, like an intern or a temp employment office that they had on the campus there on that part of
Oh,
this. Did they?
I'm not
It's amazing
sure.
because I actually hired staff for the conference through that office.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
can give you
interesting.
information about that if you're interested in that. 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
sure
that would be
they have
cool.
an internship program through that too. And it was the first
Maybe.
time I'd ever seen anything like that in any of the conferences that we've had with parks or universities. So
Oh,
it was really interesting. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I can send that over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Madison Research Park, they're just talking about adding a new building that they're calling like the Elements Building now. So that's just going to be like their new startup, and 60% labs, 40% office, and it's going to be like life sciences focused.
Mm.
So that'll be something that's coming up, and yeah, so looking for life science firms to kind of fill that building.
Right. Do any of the other parks, do you have buildings that are like in process right now or in the even development phase? I know that you've all had some in the last 6 months. Sorry if you heard my big dog, sorry.
I mean, we just we had a bunch of things that just opened. So, but we just put out an RFI, and we are going to be putting out an RFP for
Right.
development of a certain area of our park, and that will go out. I'm not exactly sure what the timing is going to be right now, but we just got the RFI responses back. I think the close was September 30th. So we're now looking at that, which will inform what the RFP is. So that's exciting. It's what will probably be is it will be development that's different from, it's not going to be, I mean, we've got an overflow right now, of course, of office space because we just opened a 40,000, like just in September, opened a 40,000 square foot building. So it'll be different types of space.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting in the future. I mean, you've heard some reports. I was just on a call earlier with Steve Case's staff and how we shouldn't go back to normal. And, you know, you hear so many other predictions of, you know, people being together for like the labs and that part, but office space not being as needed. But I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. I don't have my crystal ball working right now, so.
I mean, it's definitely not data, any confidence in it, but we've had an uptick in people looking for office space that already have some, just to bring people back that they can kind of spread out.
That's good. That's hopeful.
I'm sorry, I lost you guys for like 20 minutes there.
Has there been any program with AORP, Vicki, on programming facilities for the new normal? Maybe in terms of meeting spaces and like what Miles was just saying.
Not that very topic. I mean, I know we've had like some bio related, and then we just had the War for Talent a couple weeks ago, which was really interesting. I think at the conference, I think is the next place where we'll talk about some of those things. The final session of the conference will be roundtables, you know, breakout rooms, and talking about from knowledge base as well as recommendations, what everybody does see as the new normal, and you know, putting that together, and then we hope to put out some kind of recap of that session and then following the conference too.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, any other comments from anybody? No. I don't know, because the conference, Diana, do you know, I know I'm calling you on off the top, you know, you may not be prepared for this. Do you know what our next call is?
For communications, it would technically be during conference week. So
Like mid-November then, right?
yeah,
Okay.
so I believe it would be November
19th.
19th, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What is that face, Laura? It's not about the date? I'm like,
No. No, I was looking at my calendar and just thinking about how scary it is for the next few weeks. Sorry.
oh, it is. It really is. I just can't believe how fast time is going. So.
Well, Vicki, I want to know how you're going to handle the sponsors reception that night. Does that mean that I can put a bottle of wine next to my computer and
Yes.
get some hors d'oeuvres? Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, order in, get some bruschetta from your local Italian restaurant, and call it a day.
I think they're going to drop it via drone. That's the rumor.
So my hot pockets are out the window. Good.
I always think of, whenever I think of like drones dropping something off, I always think of Parks and Rec. And when the company just started dropping off drones to random people's houses, and Ron Swanson got so mad, he's like, how do they know where I live?
With all the products that they had scalped from their personal data.
Yeah. Right. Great.
I just have visions of guys in the backyard with shotguns blasting those things out of the sky.
Yeah.
This is Louisiana, so you can't go hunting as much, in those off seasons. So
That's so funny.
Oh.
This was obviously a much smaller scale, but we were trying to get 30 community organizations to send at least one person to our community leader focus group for our strategic plan update. And we did, I think it could have been some other app, but I think it was Chow Now. We did the catering option where we could send them like $15 or $20 to get their own meal, and held it over the lunch hour. And we were like, no one's gonna come. Like, this is a thing that, it's just another Zoom meeting, and this was really early in COVID. We got all 30 people to show up by sending them money for food.
wow.
True.
You guilt them into showing up? Is that what that is?
Kind of, yes.
I like that idea.
Funny. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. You're going to get back a couple minutes, I think, and unless there's anything else we want to talk about today.
Thank you,
You
Vicki.
as always.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Let us know.
Thank you.
Diana, let us know if you need help leading up to the conference with anything. Feel free to contact us.
Yes.
And Aaron and Miles, please don't tell your staff where I live, because I don't want to be on the hook for any blame for all this stuff. So
I just went to your YouTube channel, and I don't even know if I want to send that to my staff. It's like, good God.
I'm just reminding you, Rome was not built in a day, okay?
Yeah, I tell you what, geez, that's incredible what you've accomplished there. So I'll see if I can hire away your interns. How about that?
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I know. Can we start a share program for Laura's interns across the districts?
That'd be great.
I'll tell you, Laura, there's money to be made here. You could subcontract them out. It'd be great.
Okay. I'll pitch
10% of the,
that to my boss. Unfortunately, I only have so many hours with them, so.
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
yeah.
Well, thanks,
Thank
you guys.
I take that as
Everybody.
high compliments from all of you, and I will pass that along to them because they work very hard. So
Please do.